he was very instrumental, of course, in starting the tribe and the government as it is now. And a story my dad told about him, of course, he drove him places. And of course, he had a driver, but he always had a nice car. You know, whenever he'd get ready to buy a new car, he'd just go buy it, you know, because they had a little mine too. And so he was telling my dad, and of course he talked very slowly. And he was telling him he decided he'd buy a car. He thought I think he had a Lincoln, or maybe an Oldsmobile. I don't know. Big cars back then were big. He decided he'd buy a Cadillac. So there was two. There was the Ford Lincoln Mercury place in Miami, Cassis, and Neil Norton's, who had Cadillac, Chevy, and whatever else. And so they were catty-cornered from each other, and of course competitive, very competitive. So he went to Neil Norton's to buy a Cadillac. Now, picture him as he dressed every day. He looked around on the lot. He went in and looked at the Cadillacs in the showroom. Said he told my dad this very true story. He waited around, 20, 30 minutes, and no one waited on him. He was this old Indian man. Yeah, looked like, he dressed. So he said, he thought, okay, he'd just go across the street and buy him a Lincoln. So when he went in, Darrell Cassie was so competitive. In his office by the showroom, he had windows up where you could, kind of high, where you could see in. So Uncle Bob looked at the Lincolns out on the lot. A young man, a go-getter, came out to wait on him to help him, see what he needed. So he found a car that he liked. So then he took him inside to, take care of the paperwork and stuff. Now this was, I don't know, probably in the 50s. And so he went in, and when he saw who it was, Darrell Cassie came running out, because he knew who it was. He knew him. And so, Mr. Whitebird, what can we do for you today, blah, 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 blah. So he told him he'd found a Lincoln that he thought he'd like to buy. And, this, eventually this young man will take care of you and everything. And so the young man said, when he got down to the paperwork, Mr. Whitebird, do we need to, finance you, or, we need to contact your bank or whatever for the payment of the car, or are you going to make, if we finance it, we can let you make payments, every month. And he said, no. He said, I thought I'd just pay you cash. So he paid him like $2,000-3,000 cash for the car, and got it and went home. So he was telling my dad all about buying his new car that day.